goes to the trade nights, from vintage grails to modern heat. This is the podcast where collectors come together. Hosted by Nick, Brock, and Dan from Pal Sports Cards and Devin from Rots, Razzes, and Repacks. Welcome to the Trade the Slash. The Trade the Slash. The Trade the Slash. Don't think the slabs.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts on the intro song?
Every time they say my name, it gets me. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but it's just the razzes and repacks part gets me
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah. I said it last time. It's grown on me. Like I find myself like tapping my foot and like kind of just like getting a little bit ready. So
I definitely look forward to hearing it.
as you guys can see, two of our heavy hitters, Brock and Nick, they're you know, on strike right now. They want more money and everything like that before they can. No, I'm just kidding. So they couldn't make it tonight. So uh, Devin and I are going to hop on here and talk about a couple different topics that, hopefully you guys can provide some feedback on and him and I can go back and forth on. And then, maybe if you guys want to reach out via Instagram, Facebook, since we're live, ask any questions.
So, fun fact, not even 100% sure if we're live.
Okay. All right. I
And
love the honesty.
Yeah, getting some Instagram and Facebook feedback saying that there's connection failures. So, um, might have to listen to it back. Send
Okay.
us those comments in, and we'll get
All
to
right.
it next week.
So, you and I were kind of talking today, and I had a topic that I wanted to bring up that I have a lot of fun talking about. And
And I love the topic too, by the way. Just
yeah.
this is up my alley.
So, would you consider right now the All-Star game just ended? Kind of the next month, one of the most dead times in sports.
Sure seems that way. Like
So,
you ain't got, I'm a big football guy. No notifications going off. Seems like after AJ Brown got traded, no notifications about no football, no training camp, no none of that. Like basketball, you had the draft, but another now summer league, meh.
yeah.
Like it's a very quiet time. Like people going on vacations, not paying attention as close to sports. Yeah.
Dare I say this is the time to catch up on some shows. You and the missus maybe binge watch. I know my wife and I like this time of year. It's like because we got spoiled a little bit with the World Cup, where that kind of because I think July technically is really when it starts. You kind of hit that lull of like the NBA finals are over, the draft is over, NBA stuff. Obviously the summer league, but these next 4 to 5, 6 weeks, even man, I mean, they seem to be like because you're so close to football season. And I think another example of, and I want your opinion on this, but another example of why this is such a slow time of year is how pumped the country and the networks get for the Little League World Series. That's like what we have to take us into football season. It seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a weird time. It's like ESPN's quiet, just a lot of baseball, a lot of so yeah, Little League World Series, especially for us PA people, it's definitely a cool thing. But yeah, it's definitely a weird time. Like you said, it's a good time to catch up on some shows. Maybe hit the video games.
I'm trying to think of like a time of year that would maybe be second to it, and the one that came back to me was and I'd be interested to hear like maybe some comments when we post this, but um those couple weeks right after the Super Bowl, like right before March Madness picks up, that I don't know, that era of February is kind of a little like NBA regular season, NHL regular season, but you know, I don't know what your thoughts are, if there would be a second time a year that it kind of jumped off the page to you.
Nah, I think you hit it right on the head. Like I would actually say probably like right after Christmas. Seems like
Yeah.
people have that holiday time. They're spending, 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 and they're just trying to recoup. It's like for me, like I realize a lot. Like when it's even with the Super Bowl, MVP comes out. Like people are selling cards, they're not buying cards. So it seems
Right.
like kind of the downward trend where things start getting quiet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would agree, like right around, like right after Christmas and through February into March Madness, like it's definitely like probably the second quietest time.
So, last show, last week, I thought you did a great job with some of the football stuff. Just kind of talking about like your do's and don'ts, some honorable mention stuff. Um, so I wanted to kind of dive into the NBA a little bit, and talk about a couple guys. There's two guys that jumped off the page to me, uh, and the first one being Christian Anderson, Texas Tech. Now he was drafted by the Hornets. He was a all league selection in the Big 12 for the Texas Tech. Had a great college career, and he's been putting up some decent numbers in the summer league. But what really kind of intrigued me, obviously, with some of the trades with involving the Hornets, there's a big opportunity there to kind of step in and be the guy, that's racking up some double doubles and everything like that. So Christian Anderson from Texas Tech is a guy that, I think I'm going to give it a shot, pick up some of his cards, see where they can go, because I think that and he's kind of under the radar. He wasn't like a top 5 pick. He's someone that I think you can get him for a decent price. So Christian Anderson is the first guy from Texas Tech, and he's now on the Hornets.
Okay, I
Um,
know some Hornets guys I can get behind that.
all right, all right.
Dig it.
The second guy, Bennett Sturritz. He played at Drake and then most recently at Iowa. So this guy is another one who, a little bit under the radar. I mean, he had a very good college career, but right now in the summer league, as of I think yesterday or 2 days ago, OKC hasn't won a game in the summer league yet. But this guy has been a huge bright spot for them. He shot the ball really well, uh, racking up some assists, a couple steals. Like he's been what their beat writers have called like a very pleasant surprise. I mean, I know he's a first round draft pick, but he's someone that I think could do really well, and kind of plug right in there in OKC and maybe get a chance to kind of compete right away. But so Bennett Sturritz from OKC is another guy that I'm going to be on the lookout for. Um, a Drake Bulldog / Iowa Hawkeye. He's a very cerebral type player, I guess you could call him. So, but
Bennett Sturts.
yep.
You think he stays on OKC, or do you
I
think
don't
they're
know. I
looking
mean,
to
it's so
trade
it's
bait?
so it's so hard with some of these teams. Like
They only
you know,
got
sp-
15 roster spots. It's tough when you're so loaded. It seems.
yeah. And I mean, they have guys. I mean, speaking of OKC, like I'm interested to see what the Jared McCain situation brings. Well, I mean, I know a lot of people were killing Maury for that trade, but some of that trade kind of opened up the door for some of the Jaylen Brown stuff to happen. So, um, but it was just tough to watch him in the NBA finals or Western Conference finals, knocking down threes and making plays and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, definitely someone we could have used down the stretch. It
yeah.
stinks that it came to it, but you move on, and it seems like this year should be better.
So the next, I wanted to ask you a question because I feel like with your knowledge with football and some of the other stuff of the value after a guy gets traded of like what some of his high end stuff would still be worth. And it hits close to home, but I was kind of wondering, your opinion. And I don't know if you want to tie it in with like a football example, but with the Jaylen Brown situation, you know, what do you see some of his high end, like one of ones, Celtic stuff or some of the autos or different things like that? I mean, like, does that stuff like just plummet or does that kind of like hold firm a little bit just because of the value? I'm just kind of curious your opinion on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that they plummet. It depends where that player's market is to begin with. Um, I like you look at let's say for football, for example, you look at like George Pickens
Hmm.
got traded from Pittsburgh to Dallas. Now, his market wasn't overly strong to begin with, and because of the trade, like it seems like the cards just went down value. Now he had a good season for Dallas, but until like the Dallas autos of his come out or the Dallas cards of his, they're kind of gonna take a hit. Um, but like some of the high end, like for basketball, Luca being traded, for example, from Dallas to the Lakers, um, his market didn't really see much of a trade
Gotcha.
drop off at all. So it just depends where their market is. If it's like super high end, some players like you won't miss a beat. Like they'll hold steady. Other guys, John Morant, obviously with his issues and that being traded, his market's down. Um, so yeah, I would say it just kind of depends where their market was to begin with. It's why are they getting traded? Were they getting traded because they're part of some crazy trade package, or like Luca? So
So where do you? I mean, just your personal opinion. I mean, where do you think Jaylen Brown kind of falls on that realm of like? Do you
I would,
think that his stuff will still stay like pretty like his
I would,
Boston stuff?
yeah, I would say it would probably be pretty steady. Maybe not all of it, but I
Hmm.
know he's not in all the different products and that. Like I know he don't sign crazy in that. Even like his rookie autos and that are higher than you would expect just because he don't sign that many products. So I would
Okay.
expect that his market actually stays pretty firm. You're also looking at two big city markets like Boston and Philly, so like Philly market don't miss a beat as far as even the card game goes. It's just like a lot more of those cards are popular. They sell for higher values than some of the smaller market guys.
Yeah. So, kind of shifting gears a little bit here. I know that we had just talked about like a little bit of downtime in sports right now, but baseball, the trade deadline being August 3rd, is kind of right around the corner. Um, there's a few names here that I've kind of locked in on, um, but I wasn't sure. Is there anything in particular like with our Phillies that maybe you'd like to see, or you kind of think jumps off the page, or just is it kind of just still ride out with what we have at this point?
We definitely could use the bullpen armor too.
Yeah.
Uh, I think in between our starting pitchers and Duran, we could definitely use an armor too. I think we just lost Brad Keller for the year.
Yeah, I saw that.
Um, yep. So I would definitely say we could use a bullpen or arm or two to get us to the ninth inning. Seems like once we get there, Duran's pretty locked down.
Yeah.
Um, I know they're looking at another righty bat. I think for some of our younger guys, it's just getting them consistent at bats. So I would be okay with the bats being the way that they are. Like I said, a bullpen arm or two. The Mike Trout fantasy always lives on. Uh, you know, I could, I wouldn't be opposed to a Ranger reunion.
Yeah.
I see, his name's been floated. I think he's on the IL right now. Tariq Skubal. So I guess it just depends what it takes to get maybe one of those guys. But there's a few names that I wouldn't necessarily mind, but I don't think we need. As far as the need, like I said, bullpen arm.
Yeah, I mean, I look at guys like obviously Scooble, like, people are already saying like, oh, if he goes to the Dodgers, that's ridiculous. And Minnesota with Joe Ryan, solid starter. There's a Mason Miller with the Padres. I mean, another good reliever,
He
those
just
kind of,
signed a big deal with them. I wouldn't think that Mason Miller would be on the market per se, but
yeah.
we'll never know.
It was funny when I was like looking up some of the and I don't know, maybe if it's just because of what they need or if they still feel like they're like in a win now, but his name was getting mentioned in a few scenarios, which I thought was a little odd as well. But
Probably maybe the money. They paid
yeah,
him a lot, and he made the All Star, and so it's tough moving on from All Stars. There's only so many.
yeah. So speaking of the All Star game, I mean, what was your feedback? 250 here in Philly, the home run derby and just the whole shebang. What'd you think?
They didn't end on a magenta ball. Shouldn't have counted. From one Phillies fan to another, shouldn't have
Yeah.
counted.
Yeah.
Nah, it was cool. Seeing Jordan Walker win the home run derby was cool. I have him on my fantasy team. He's a
All
stud.
right. Nice.
So not mad at that one bit. Would have loved to see one of the Phillies win. But it was cool. We actually went down to the city Saturday. Went down to a convention center for the All Star Village, and
Nice.
yeah, that was awesome. They had a ton to do. Got to win some cool prizes and stuff like that. It was totally free, so it was actually a very cool time. Um, they had like the draft going on, even though there was no players there.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool. A bunch of meet and greets and that. So it was cool. The fireworks thing seemed like they really leaned into 250. So
Yeah. Did you see that the Sandlot like recreated
Yep.
scene they did? That was cool. That was a nice touch.
Yep.
Uh, and then I was when I heard Scott Rowland was coming back, I was interested to see like what the fan reaction would be because I mean, I don't think he was ever really quiet on how he felt about Philadelphia and his time here. But you know, he was welcomed back with cheers, which was interesting. So, but it was tough seeing Mike Schmidt throw underhand with the first pitch. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's what can you do? When you get
yeah,
old, you get old.
yeah.
Guy didn't want to hurt the catcher. That's all.
No, that's true. That's true. So I know this time of year we talked about a little bit last week about some of your do's and don'ts, and I wanted to know if you had given any more thought to my theory of the Trevor Lawrence just being the big hate the face guy, and maybe that has you a little
It don't. Honestly, it don't at all. I
okay. All right.
don't think twice about it. What I did think twice about it's like it's crazy how I had Trevor Lawrence as the don't, but then like Brian Thomas Jr. and Bashal Tootin as the do's
Yeah.
on the same team. I
Yeah.
found that I found that interesting, but yeah, no, I'm done with T Law.
Yeah.
I'm done with that train.
Now is that like based off of some like I know you're a huge football fan, like fantasy, but you're also obviously a big time collector involved in the card game. I mean, has he just burned you personally too many times where you're kind of just like I've seen this guy, the book's out on him, and like I know, I'm guessing, and from what I took from your feedback was that like you feel like he's reached his ceiling. Like this was like
Yeah, yeah. He like for being like he was the highest touted prospect since Peyton.
wow,
Um,
yeah,
go like from college, like coming out of high school, he was the guy since Peyton, and he had an all right rookie year, good sophomore year. Like I don't know, it just year after year with his card market as cards came available, it's like I thought I'm getting these for a good deal, and 10 weeks later, 12 weeks later, 16 weeks later, they're the same damn price. It's
yeah,
just like I even when he plays good, like it just they don't do good.
yeah,
So as like card collecting, I've just seen enough where it's like there's no potential. Like the card is only it's capped.
yeah.
No, I'm good on that. Actually, right now this week, Bryce Young is my guy this week that I've been
Okay,
eyeing up.
all right,
Um, check out some of the uh, tops autos. Signature class right now, Bryce Young autos like $40
okay,
for a quarterback that made the playoffs last year and almost beat the Rams,
yeah,
getting more weapons this year than that. Bryce Young's this week's hot guy.
okay, all right. So, do you? I mean, I know with the show, we have something next week at the Reading Phillies Stadium that we're super excited about. Um,
Super.
is there anybody that you're particularly on the lookout for? I mean, I know you just mentioned Bryce Young, but are there any cards that you're on the lookout for in terms to like make purchases or like do you think about that stuff a lot coming in where you're like these are the 4 or 5 players I'm really going after, or is some of it just like a gut reaction at the table? Like kind of take me through that.
Yeah, there's definitely a gut reaction. Like I said, like I'm an autographs guy, so like anytime people are bringing up cards for me to look at, if there's an auto in there, it's normally the first card I pull out. It's the first card
Right.
that interests me. Um, Other than that, like I'd be trying to check the market, knowing what's hot. I would say like in particular for this show, I'm just kind of like I've been leading into tops cards more. Now
Okay.
that they're getting out more, they're becoming more affordable. Some like the cases, like the ultraviolets. Yeah, that kind of stuff's be getting into the range where it's like they're becoming steady. Um, so I'm definitely more interested in adding some of them. I think some of them are really cool looking. Even like the baseball, Topps Chrome's coming out with baseball in a couple of days. I don't know if you've seen the ultraviolets they have coming out, but they're very sick looking.
Nice. Yeah. So I'm actually I'm still because I think I may have shared with you I'm in the midst of a little bit of a project. I'm
Mm-hmm.
building 2 showcases, one for the '08 Phillies and one for, even though they didn't win, the 22 Phillies. I just feel like they were a team that kind of revitalized the city in a lot of ways. Um, so I've been on the hunt for those players like slabbed up and stuff. Um, in the past, we've had guests on here. There was a gentleman, he lives down in South Carolina, I believe, or in Georgia, but he's a huge Georgia Bulldogs fan. So he tries to collect like every Georgia player possible. He has like his room is like covered. Like, are there any type of those type of projects or any like type of stuff like that that you've done in the past or you've seen that you thought were pretty cool? Like,
Yeah, I know. Well, seeing wise, like I have some people that on my Facebook group that have collections. I know. Well, I have a buddy that collects the Super Bowl downtown prism.
oh, nice.
Uh, so yeah, I've seen some cool ones. I myself personally like I collect Eagles. I don't get into it a whole lot though. I like memorabilia for my PC.
Okay.
My fiance, on the other hand, she's been collecting rated rookies. That's her thing. So
Okay.
we've been growing her PC quite a bit.
All right.
Rated
Cool.
rookies, fun guy.
Nice. Nice. So, well, hey, listen, we're going to wrap things up here. As always, we want to wish everyone the best as they're out there collecting, selling, just part of the hobby. As long as you enjoy it, stick with it through the ups and downs. A reminder, we have our show next Saturday, July 25th at the Reading Phillies Stadium. It's going to be a great show, about close to 100 tables, I believe. So it'll be a great turnout. And I can't thank everyone enough for these shows. People, the vendors, people like Devin here who have kind of made this thing a reality. So we appreciate it a lot. But Devin, anything you want to add before we take us out here?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the area, stop in next Saturday. We're gonna be set up there. It's gonna be a great show. I mean, last every show seems like they're getting better and better. Um, the word of mouth just keeps growing. Vendor wise, like I know you guys like can't even get tables out fast enough. Uh, so yeah, next weekend's gonna be awesome. Appreciate everybody for checking us out on here.
Yep.
We're down a couple heads tonight, but the boys are still after it.
Yeah, you got to
Figuring,
power through. Yep.
yeah, power things through. We're figuring things out one by one, day by day.
But it's funny, like it made us appreciate how much Nick does with this setup. So we thank the boss man. You know, he's he's our guy. He's our backbone. So all
He's our
right.
guy. He's our guy. We appreciate him, and
Yeah.
yeah, we appreciate everybody.
All right,
Catch us
guys.
next week.
Have a good one. Talk to you later.